Let's go high. I'm honored to be with you today and sharing in your service of communion. This is the Sunday after Easter, often known as Low Sunday. It's a Sunday when the energy tends to be a bit low, and traditionally church attendance, which peaks on Easter Sunday, is often quite low as well. On Low Sunday, let's go high. My theme today centers on our heroes. And it was a hero to many people, Michelle Obama, who famously said, "When they go low, you go high." So on Low Sunday, let's go high. I'm going to begin with a question. What do Jesus and Leonard Cohen and Stephen Hawking have in common? Well, at first you may think of a number of differences. A Middle Eastern teacher and healer from 2,000 years ago, a Canadian Jew known for music and poetry, and an English astrophysicist with no religious affiliation. Differences abound. Jesus' life was tragically short. Hawking's miraculously long. Cohen was popular, then unpopular, nearly bankrupt in the mid-2000s, but died popular and well off, earning more after 80 than in all the years previous. I know you're on to where I'm going with all of this. There is a common feature in their lives, and the common feature is brokenness. Jesus' persecution and crucifixion, Hawking's ALS, Cohen's mix of depression, substance abuse, broken relationship. They all represent to me the fourth day of creation, the day the light of creation came into being. And it was, of course, Cohen who famously connected these two themes, brokenness and light, in the song he wrote called Anthem, that says, "There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." For me, this is the power of the resurrection. You can destroy the body. You cannot diminish the light of creation. God's light cannot be contained, cannot be controlled, diminished, politicized. It can be lived. It can be ignored. It can be temporarily distorted or squashed, but it will just leap from the ground. It will just be born again. It will just find a new way to invade the cracks of our brokenness and shed light. Let me date myself, just somewhat, all of us maybe, and mention two musical heroes of mine, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. Remember them? And their rock opera, Jesus Christ Superstar, which was re-performed recently with Alice Cooper singing the part of King Herod. You know what I say? I say, be well, Alice. Keep your voice strong. There are 3 current King Herod autocrats and their oligarchs running the world's largest countries. There are going to be lots of work for you, Alice, in the Jesus Christ rock operas to come. The light's not going to go out. Superstar. The light of a distant star that led the wise men, the astronomers, to Jesus' birth. The light that invades the cracks of our brokenness. The light that becomes a black hole, as Hawking taught us, when that star's energy collapses. Here we are today at this table. Originally in our Jewish heritage, the altar of sacrifice, but transformed in Christian understanding to a table of commemoration and fellowship. But who is here at this table? Who comes? Who is welcome? When Leonard Cohen was still alive, you might have said to your neighbor, "Hey, Cohen's coming to the K-Rock. You want to come with us? I'll get tickets." But would you invite those same neighbors to communion? Who's welcome here? Now, this table is a sacrament, one of two central sacraments of our church, and it is reasonable that the table ceremony itself be reserved for those who see themselves as followers of Jesus and are comfortable with and believe in the notion of taking the elements of Jesus' life into themselves in literal and symbolic ways. But I am inviting you today to bring with you in your hearts and your minds all your heroes, all those who, though perhaps broken in some ways like all of us, live the light of creation. Imagine them with us. Imagine perhaps even the somewhat awkward conversation as we try to explain exactly why we do this and what it means to me. I am inviting, in my imagination, two new young heroes of mine. One lives in Kingston, one lives in Parkland, Florida. Both have recently experienced extreme brokenness. The one in Kingston, I actually did invite here today, but he was too shy to say yes. His name is Ahmed. I met him first at an event at Queen's last month, and then coincidentally, I saw him again a week later at the mosque. And he told me some of his story. Until 18 months ago, he lived in Aleppo, Syria. He and family members were lucky enough to be able to immigrate to Canada and are now living with us here in Kingston. He is a young man who has seen too much violence and bloodshed, but he is a survivor. And he said to me, "I want to know more about how Christians pray." And that's when I invited him here today. And I hope I will see him again. I'm sure I will. And I hope that we will each learn more about how we pray and what it means to us. The other hero from Parkland, Florida is, of course, Emma Gonzalez. Though it could be any of those wise and courageous young people who might just accomplish a change in gun culture. She too has seen too much violence and bloodshed and is a survivor. She's been slimed and trolled, as they all have, to which they have responded with more grace and honesty and determination than we've seen in most of the politics of the recent era. In my wildest imagination, all those heroes are here together with us today at this table. So we can talk about light, and we can talk about hope, and maybe we can all help each other point the way to a new way forward. I'd settle for just Emma and Ahmed here today, Parkland, Aleppo, and Calvary. Extreme brokenness brings us to this table. That's why we are here. But it is never final. It does not prevail. It is not the answer. When Ahmed and I were talking about prayer, he said, Christians don't touch their foreheads to the ground when they pray. And I said, no, we normally don't. Perhaps we should. And I started to say that it is a sign of great, and as I hesitated, he too was searching for the word, and he started to say embarrassment, but then he quickly knew that was not the word he was looking for. And then I said humility, and he seized on that word, and we had then a lovely discussion about the difference between embarrassment and humility. And then it hit me. 18 months ago, not a word of English, he was living the horror of Aleppo. We are so thankful, are we not, for all our heroes? I've only mentioned a few. Each of you have many to add. They're such a huge part of why we are able, year after year, to come to this table, to celebrate new life and new hope shown to us in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. But today I say to our young heroes, to Emma, to Ahmed, and to all the others like them, you are the light. You are the hope. You are with us here today, and we go with you as you lead the way in the days ahead. Is this an empty, outmoded ritual? Only if we go low. Let's not. Let's go high.